The first step is to find 4 5.5-inch bolts and remove the nuts and a single washer from each bolt set. Then we're going to turn the leg on its side, and then we'll insert the bolts, being sure that there's a single washer on each bolt. Once you have all the bolts inserted, then place a nut temporarily on each bolt. This will prevent the bolt from falling back out as you turn the leg back over. Secure each bolt with a washer and a nut. Now we're going to remove the nuts that were placed temporarily, and we'll first install the front column, placing the column over the bolts, and then we'll place washers and nuts. You want to hand tighten this, or actually you want to snug these up, but don't over tighten, as you'll need some slack when you put the pieces in at the top. Then we're going to do the same on the other side, starting with the front column and then the back column. Next, you want to prepare 2 bolts. Place them in your pocket, and then we're going to put the side cross pieces in. You'll need a ladder or some sort of a stool. And you're going to just put the bolts in at the top, basically just to hold the piece in place. Notice how the columns are still just ever so slightly loose so that we can get this piece in place. Now we're going to do the same on the other side. Next, we're going to install the back plate. Hang the back plate on one of the bolts that you just installed. Then once you get it there, place a washer and nut to hold it in place. Don't tighten this at this point. Now pick it up and install it on the other bolt. Put you a washer and nut there as well. Then we're going to install the remaining bolts through the back plate. finishing each bolt with a washer and a nut. Next, we're going to install the middle cross piece. You'll need to prepare 4 bolts, 2 in each pocket. Here I'm just placing one side on my shoulder, and then we're going to place the bolts in the top holes. Then turn and do the other side. Now we're going to place the other 4 bolts in the bottom holes on each side. Then we're going to install washers and nuts for all 8 bolts. Now we're going to install the weight stacks. Begin by placing the rubber bumpers on the base legs, and then place the guide rods with the threaded end up into the holes and allow them to go diagonally as shown. You're going to remove the bolts that have already been previously installed in the top and place those into the side cross pieces. Then it's time to start stacking the weights. First, we're going to remove the top plate. And then we're going to start from the bottom of the stack and either stack either 1 plate at a time, or if you can, 2 plates at a time. And you'll repeat this process until you have the complete stack minus the top plate stacked up. Once you have the stack complete, you'll place the top plate. And now we'll secure the guide rods into the side cross pieces at the top. Stick the rod through, then use the bolts that you previously removed to secure the guide rods in the top. Then you'll use a wrench to tighten those bolts. Next, we'll install the adjustable column. We'll start by hanging it at the top. just going to loosely install the bolts at the top to begin with. We'll come back and tighten everything else later. And then at the bottom, we'll secure it at the bottom. Next, we're going to install the cable. Begin by uncoiling the cable. It's best to uncoil it like this and not let it kink up. So we're going to start by placing it through the tri-pulley, then down through the base. Be sure not to go under the leg. Make sure it goes through the slot, out the other side, up to the pulley top plate, to the back, coming down to the pulley on the weight stack, going back up to the pulley plate on the other side, and finally terminating at the sliding car. You'll need to loosen the Allen screws so that you can get the cable in. You want to get this tight, but not so tight that it lifts the top plate off the stack. Once you've pulled it tight, simply tighten the set screws. Now we'll install optional accessories. These are the power swing arms. These may or may not be included in your order. Please check the packing list to see if they are included. You'll repeat this same procedure for both sides of the unit. The next optional accessory are the side cranes. These cranes use the same bolts as the center pull-up cross member. You may have 1 or 2 side cranes included in your order. If you have 2, repeat this same procedure for the other side. Now that we've finished with the basic construction of the frame, we're going to go back and tighten all the bolts. Each bolt should be tightened to approximately 50 foot-pounds of torque. Let's start with the columns. Then we're going to get the back cross member. Then we're going to get the 6 bolts of the back plate. Then we're going to tighten the front power swing arms. Then the side cranes, and if you don't have a side crane, you'll go ahead and tighten these bolts. This is what holds the center pull-up section in place.